Good morning. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the barn. Yeah, today I am going to jump right into it. I haven't been doing barn videos just because I felt like I wasn't really sharing any useful information. It was just like, hey, let me tell you about what's going on in my life, which I want to be helping people, right? So, this is in their homestead journey, and yeah, I just kind of took a break because felt like it was not really doing anything for anyone. Anyway, so now I am back, and I'm going to be answering questions that I get, and I get them often about various different things, or maybe teach you something that I learned that week. So I'm not going to say it's me every week because that's just I don't know what happens in my life, but that's what this is going to be instead. I also have been wanting to do this video for a long time, and I wanted to do cool cinematic, fun stuff. And I realized, oh my, I just am not in a place in my life where that's a reality. I'm a busy homeschooling mom of 3. I, run this farm. It's now, starting seeds time, getting ready for the planting season. And, I cook everything from scratch, and, it's just and I have a house to take care of. So, when was I going to find time? I didn't. I realized that's silly, Melissa. It doesn't need to be all pretty and perfect. It just needs to have good information, right? So that's what I'm hoping to get to today. Without further ado, let's dive right in. So you want to buy a family cow. So you want to get in on this family cow business that has exploded in the past couple years. I love it. That's awesome. I'm so excited for people to dive into this awesome adventure that is the family cow. It is it's so cool to go back to what our roots, not everyone, but this is how it was. We learned back in the day we took responsibility for our own food, and we had our own cows, and we did all those things. And I just love it when someone has a desire and that passion and they really want to do it as well. Love it. It makes me so happy. But there's a few things to consider when you are thinking about getting a family cow, and very important things to consider before you make that leap. It's really easy to see a listing and be like, that's it, we're doing it, let's go get the cow. But you really, really, really should take a minute and consider these things, more than a minute, and consider some things before you make that leap. Not only for you, your sanity, your family, but also for the cow, right? For the cow's sake, because we want to make sure we're doing best by the animals that we care for. So I'll have these tips, not in any order, but I'm saving my number 1 tip to the end. So stick around or fast forward if you really must. So who am I to talk about this, right? So I've had a family cow. I am no expert in family cow everything, but I know my stuff. I've done this for 3 years and I've researched the heck out of it. So yes, I can tell you from experience, these are my tips on what you want to consider when you're getting a family cow. All right, so you're thinking about getting a family cow. First thing you want to consider, well, I didn't have this on my list. I literally have a list pinned to my board here because I know me and I get off on a tangent and then I don't even say what I wanted to say. I don't even have my bucket. Just a minute. Obviously, you need to talk with your spouse first. Make sure that they are on board and really on board with it. Now, my story is my husband was like, no way. No. He pretty much thought that I would it would be one of those, this is so fun. And then I'd be like, this sucks. And, we're stuck with a cow. I get it. But so what I did is I did my research and I just kept learning about cows and I just tell them about them. And I wasn't pressuring him or anything like that. I was just like, hey, look at this cool fact I learned about not just cows. I know we both know about cows, but family cows in particular. And eventually I won him over. So, but really, before you make the leap, you should be on the same page with your significant other. Okay. So, and before you even consider, which cow you're going to get, go look on Craigslist or Facebook or whatever. You need to think about where that cow's going to go. Okay, so do you have the adequate fencing and space and shelter of whatever sort for a cow? Now, cows vary in what they need with fencing. Ours, we have a 4-strand electric, 3-strand electric, 3, I think. That's silly. I don't even know that. And it's great. She never even goes near it. Like, she's great. She's very respectful of fences. It probably doesn't even need to be electric, to tell you the truth. She's just really good. Some cattle we've had, steers that were so crazy they went right through the electric. And so some people choose barbed wire. There's different options, but look at that. They say about an acre per cow is adequate. And that depends. There's a lot of factors to go into that. Your soil, how well grass grows in your area. If you want them on grass, or if you're going to do more like a feedlot style and you're going to be feeding hay and grain all the time, if you would, you have to take those factors into consideration. And there's a lot of good information out there. Also, the shelter. You need to have some sort of shelter. It can be crude. We're not judging people, but it's got to be something, some sort of shelter. Technically, cattle don't have to, but I guess it depends on your area of the world. Like, I'm in Wisconsin in the winter. I couldn't imagine making my cow stand outside all winter long and have no spot for a break. Granted, I know, cattle, they stand outside in the blizzard weather and they don't care. Yes, absolutely. But they should have a place that they can go to have a little reprieve if they want to. And then also your setup, like where you would milk and stuff like that. You just have to think about those things before you dive into getting the cow. Okay. So on that note, are you looking for a grass-fed cow? Are you looking for a grain-fed cow, or both? Or one that's both, which is most of them. Most dairy cattle now require some sort of a grain to keep them healthy, to keep them in a healthy condition because of the breeding that has happened over the years. Oh, Apple, she's been a pistol lately. I've developed a monster. I've created a monster. No, she's just flipping her hay out. So yes, you can find good grass-fed genetics out there. They're just harder to come by. So you might have to just realize there are other options besides corn and soy for grain. So if you have to go down that road and you are kind of against on that boat where you're not wanting to do corn, you little. You're going to pee? She's not happy. She only does it when she's annoyed. So what am I doing? I don't know. Right now, she's got a little bit of a sassy attitude with her grain, and she wants it like when I want it. So I'm trying to train her. She's not getting it when she's throwing her fit, so she's got to wait. It's like training a child sometimes. Okay, so I'm just going to work around her, and it's okay. Grain-fed, grass-fed. You're going to have to take that into consideration. You might have, if it is very important to you and your family that this is an only grass-fed animal, that's fine. Of course, in the winter, you're going to have to feed hay. So put that in the expense. Now, it's not just the expense of the cow, right, which is a big one. Okay. It is also the continued expense of the feed of, if you're going to feed grain, of that grain. And depending on the kind you get, obviously is going to make a big difference in the price. And the hay. So, and the fencing and the shelter. There is a lot of expense that you have to consider when you consider a family cow. It's not just the cow. There's the vet bills that are going to inevitably come up. There's milk filters. There's jars to store the milk. There's the bucket. There's the supplies you need for milking. Sure, a lot of it you buy once and you don't have to resupply very often, but they are an expense. So consider the expense. Speaking about the vet, do you have a large animal vet in your area? Do you have a vet that would be able to help you if something arises? And expect something to arise. It's not an if, it's a when. It's an animal there, and it's a large animal. It's that you're gonna, it's gonna be having a baby. It's gonna at some point. It's gonna have to have a baby on your farm. Wow, y'all are getting quite a show today. Oh, that was the dog knocking my camera right over. Hey, so this is real life. This is real life with a family cow. I have a cow that's crabby because she wants her feed, but I'm making her wait, and I have a dog that wants attention and knocked over my camera. This is life. I said it's like having kids, you multitask. So again, you need to make sure you have a vet, or at least have an out. Okay, so some people do not have vets close to them. Understand? Friend and I were just talking about the very, very low number of vets there are, and the large animal vets are in the country. It's really sad. But you have to take them into consideration. So there might not be a vet that's close, but if you had a vet that you had a relationship with, or you got a hold of a vet and said, okay, I'm looking at getting a family cow. Is this something you could help me with if and when the need arises? Yes or no. So then also, if there isn't someone super close, maybe there's a dairy, a friend, someone that could help you in a pinch, that they have the knowledge of what to do if something came up. Another thing to consider. Okay, so we're considering the logistics beyond the cow. That's kind of that side. Now the cow. Okay. When you're going to milk, are you going to hand milk? Are you going to machine milk? Now, there are arguments for both. Clearly, I prefer hand milking. Why? This is just me. I have nothing against using a machine. In fact, there's days where I'm like, gosh, I wish I just had a machine. And someday maybe I will. But for me, I'm capable. I'm physically able to milk her. When I'm not doing a video, it takes me like 10, 15 minutes to milk her out completely. It's not that bad. Get 2.5, 3 gallons or more. So that's not bad for me. And I can't afford a $2,000 milking machine. I can't when my hands still work. I am able to do this. I can't afford it. And yes, a milking machine can make my life, make this so much faster, but it's not perfect, which nothing is. Hand milking certainly isn't perfect either. You have to clean that machine, and that could take a long time, especially if you're not wanting to use harsh chemicals, and making sure that the lines are clean, that are free of milk stones. And that should be better now. She's given me what I wanted her to, and now she's got her grain, so she should stand good. Milk, machine. So, you have to consider that there's a lot of cleaning involved with the machine. So yeah, it helps you on one side, but the time is spent in another area. Okay. So added up, the time it's not really a time saver. But again, I was physically able to, once I got my muscles, used to it, it's not a big deal for me anymore. But it's just something to consider. What is best for you. I just feel like I can control the cleanliness as well better with hand milking. Some people think the complete opposite, but again, it's a personal choice, and do the research. That's what I'm saying for all this. These are just points for you to do, to go further and do research. Sure, I can extrapolate more. I can go farther, and I can have individual videos, and if you want me to, absolutely I will. But because each of these points, I could spend an entire 20, 30 minutes talking about. But my point is, take these and go do your research, and research these specifically and think about them specifically. Also, space in your fridge freezer. Okay, so you got the cow. You figured it out. Or maybe you haven't got the cow yet, but you figured out how you're going to make it all work logistically. All right, we're going to get this cow. I know how I'm going to milk her. Where is all that milk going to go? You could have, depending on your cow, you could have 1 to 6 gallons of milk a day. Okay, so yeah, woohoo, first day I got 5 gallons of milk. This is great. My fridge is full of milk. I love it. I have all these ideas. I'm going to make cheese, and I'm going to make butter, and I'm going to make yogurt. Oh my goodness, we're going to have milk for everything. And then the next day you go out and you get another 5 gallons, or maybe 6 this time, and you're like, okay, I used up some of it yesterday, but I got room. And then the next day you go out and there's another 5 gallons, and you're like, my fridge is full and I have another 5 gallons. Where am I going to put this? Okay, so you have to think this through. Where is that milk going to go? Now, if you're lucky enough to be in a state where you can sell it, maybe you could work something out and you can be sharing your milk or whatever. But consider that, and the freezer space, because you're going to have to cool that milk down quickly when you get in, and you have to get it into something to cool it down. For us, we use a freezer. So you have to have that freezer space. Those things need to be considered. Oh my goodness, am I going to have room for that? Okay, so calf sharing is another one. It's a great option for some people who still want to have a life outside of their farm, at least a little bit of one. My life is here, but I have a little bit of a life outside the farm. So calf sharing is a great option. It's where the calf stays with the mom for quite a few months. That can depend on your circumstance, how long the calf stays. But then, if you need to go somewhere, the calf can take care of milking for you. That's really nice. You're not having to come back or whatever. That's a really added bonus. Plus, of course, it's best for calf. It's best for mom. But it's not always possible. There are things that come up, and you've been planning on calf sharing, and guess what? It's not going to work. The calf didn't make it. The mom is refusing the calf. For medical reasons, calf has to be separated. Whatever it is, there's plenty of reasons. The calf is just destroying mom's teats, and we don't want mastitis, or mom is not giving us milk because the calf is with her. Whatever reason is, you always want to, have your plan, have your backup plan. You cannot go into this with a one-track mind. This is how it's going to happen. Absolutely not. You will be drowning before you know it, because things are going to come up that you weren't expecting, or that weren't going according to plan. If you've done your research and okay, this sucks. I wanted to do this, but this isn't happening. Okay, plan B. You have to be ready. You have to be prepared. So plan, if you really want to do calf sharing and you're like, yes, this will give me time. I can do this, and this because I'm calf sharing. But if it doesn't work, are you going to be able to still have a cow? Let's say, then go through the scenario. Okay, we don't have a calf. We can't do calf sharing. Can I still make this work? Okay. What breed? Now we're getting into the cow. Okay, so there's different breeds. Clearly, obviously. The number one that you think of with a family cow is a Jersey. They're great. Nothing against Jerseys. I've had a Jersey. Okay. So Jerseys, the number one that you think of. Guernsey, clearly. I love my Guernsey. There are pros and cons to every single breed. There's Dexters out there. There's mini Jerseys. There's Holsteins, clearly. Not many. I mean, it happens, but not a lot of people have Holsteins for their family cow because they do produce a lot, and they're a huge animal. But there's Swiss. There's there's so many. There's so many, and then there's mixed breeds. So there's a lot. There's a lot of pros and cons to every breed. That is a big research thing in itself. So, I love our Guernsey. I love her. Guernseys have great personalities, very affectionate and friendly. They really have they want to be around people, where Jerseys can be a little more standoffish. But she gives the amazing milk. There's literally is scientifically nothing like Guernsey milk because they can't process beta carotene, so it goes into their milk, hence the golden color. And it's just amazing. I love having a Guernsey, but they're a bigger cow, so they require more groceries. So there are pros and cons to all of them, and they're harder to find. Jerseys, they're great. They're really a great cow. They can be a little more, well, they can be a little more standoffish, maybe not as friendly. Not all of them. So someone's gonna be like, my Jersey's the best. Yes, I know. I'm just saying in general. But then they have more tendency to have like milk fever and stuff like that because of their output compared to their size. They're a smaller animal, but they still produce a ton of milk, and so they tend to have more issues around calving time. And the calves, well, Guernsey calves tend to be a little bit more frail, and so do Jerseys. But but then they're easier to find. Jerseys are easier to find. So, there's definitely, and their milk is amazing too. They give a lot of cream as well. So, and they're really good milk. So I have nothing against Jerseys. But those are the two main that you would see. I shouldn't say, there's so many. Anyways, do your research on your breed. There's so much to consider. And going into that, A1 or A2, do your research about that. I am a big fan of A2 milk. We are getting down here. She's almost done giving me milk, but do your research. If you can, I would highly suggest A2. Let's just go there. But do your research if you're going to invest in a family cow. Okay, and then disease testing. Okay, so consider that. You're going to need to do disease testing on your cow. Highly recommend disease testing for your cow before you bring her on the farm. So then with the disease testing, you have to figure out how and where you're going to send it and the logistics of disease testing. But that's something that you really should do before you get a cow on. Okay, we've done it all. I think that's my list. I probably missed something that I would consider, but that's what I came up with. Now, what's my number one? I still have my one. My number one is you must, above all, consider and really, really take seriously that this is a lifestyle change. You cannot expect that you're going to bring a cow onto your farm, that you're going to milk, that you're going to have all this milk, you're going to, all this. There's so much that comes along with having a cow, and not have changes to your life. That the only thing that's going to change is that you're going to have milk in the fridge and a lot of it. No, it is a true lifestyle change. You have to be committed to this. You have to. This cow relies on you. Like, you absolutely have to, for feeding, for consistent milking times. Some are more picky than others, but you really, really need to know. You can't just go at this on a whim. Okay, a lot of people do that with like chickens, and okay, yeah, you should do your research with any animals, but chickens, it's easy to, okay, this didn't work for me, and I probably should have thought more about it, and find a new home for them, and it's not as big of a deal. But a cow it's a big deal. Obviously, we've talked about all that goes into having a cow, all the things you need to be prepared for to have a cow. And if you haven't really considered the lifestyle change this will be, it's going to be a big bummer. It's not only the fact that, okay, now you got to get rid of the cow or whatever, but it's going to be a big letdown to you as well. So emotionally, could you handle it? If you had to give it up, or say, I wasn't ready and I wasn't thinking about that. If you are really one that likes to travel a lot, or really have a lot of stuff outside the home, can you squeeze in milking 1 to 2 times a day every single day? Really consider it. Wake yourself up early in the morning and go outside and, I don't know, do something physical for an hour or whatever, half an hour, and just consider that every single morning you have to do that. And then it doesn't stop. The chore doesn't stop when you are done milking. You have to come in and then you have to take care of the milk, and then you have to do something with that milk. And then, a calf has a calf. The cow has a calf, and you have to, figure out how to help, or, what to do when the cow has the calf, and all that you have to have on hand. And okay, the cow's had the calf, we're all good, we're milking. Now I have to breed that cow back. Okay, I have to, and so you have to think about all this. There is so much that goes into having a family cow. And this is why my husband didn't want me to get one in the first place. He didn't want one. Because of this lifestyle change. He thought I don't want to, he didn't want to be tied to the cow, like, because you really have to think of it as a new member of your family. It's really, it's really a big change. Okay. And again, we're doing this for, we have to consider the cow itself, what's best for the cow as well. We don't want to go do wrong by our animals. And yes, you could turn around and sell it, I'm sure, but again, that's a big hassle as well. So really seriously consider this lifestyle change. It looks great. And I should add before, like, I did not pressure my husband into doing this. Like, it wasn't like it was my idea and we're going to do it. And I'm going to, no. He did eventually come around and saw my point of view, and he loves our cow, loves it. And he's really, happy that we were able to make it work. But it's not easy. There are definitely some really hard times where there's days when I'm sick. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm sick. She still needs me to milk her. I still need to come out and feed her. It doesn't matter if I tear my rotator cuff. She still needs me to milk her. You have to consider that. So, yeah, that's my advice. Take it as you will. And I will do another video next on more as far as the cow. Like, you've decided, you've gone through all this. Yes, you're getting a cow. What do you look for? And how do you buy a cow? So that'll be next. But I thank you for joining us today. I'm going to let Apple go. She's ready to go out back into the pasture. And I will see you next time. Have a great week. Bye.